war, prompting a calm rebuke from the pontiff.
Visiting the Great Mosque in Algiers, Pope Leo prayed for peace, while calling out those who practice war.
Today, this is more urgent than ever in the face of continuous violations of international law and neo-colonial tendencies.
Welcome aboard.
The American pontiff was even more direct as he flew in for his 11-day Africa tour.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel.
Pope Leo was responding to an extraordinary outburst in which Donald Trump called him weak on crime and terrible on foreign policy. The president says he has nothing to apologise for.
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong.
He also defended posting an AI-generated image of himself as a Jesus-like figure, drawing widespread criticism from religious conservatives.
It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better.
The post has since been deleted, but has sparked anger among Catholics around the world.
It's terrible, it's gross, it's blasphemous.
I stand with the Pope.
We were surprised that one leader would speak about another leader with such derogatory terms.
No leader, nation or religion too sacred for the Commander-in-Chief. Zoe Ford, ABC News.
Opposition leader Angus Taylor has unveiled the first part of the coalition's highly anticipated migration policy, proposing to discriminate based on Australian values. Political reporter Sarah Tomevska has more.
Australia, long hailed the most successful multicultural nation on earth by successive political leaders.
But for an immigration program to work in the national interest, it must discriminate based on values.
The opposition leader arguing those values are linked to where people come from.
Those who migrate from liberal democracies have a greater likelihood of subscribing to Australian values compared to those coming from other places.
While noting the contributions of migration, Angus Taylor said too many migrants are self-serving net drains on society.
Australians are fed up with politically correct preaching on immigration.
Unveiling a raft of new policies, including enshrining the Australian values test into law, making learning English mandatory, Trump-style social media screening, a deportation task force, and making a safe country list to fast-track asylum claim refusals.
We'll decide who deserves protection and the circumstances in which that protection is granted.
Echoing a Liberal luminary.
Now we're just seeing desperate dog whistling from Angus Taylor.
The real challenge is how does he operationalise all this? And on that, he has given very little detail.
Stirring up a range of views.
Someone could speak a bit more English.
We love the country and I love it. We're all immigrants.
This is the first time since the White Australia policy was abolished that a major party is advocating for discriminatory migration policy, albeit not on racial grounds. The rhetoric is aimed at wooing voters who've swung to one nation, but will it resonate with broader Australia? The first test of that comes next month at the Farrer by-election. Sarah Tomevska, ABC News, Canberra.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have spent the first day of their Australian tour in Melbourne. The last time they were here was 2018, before they split with Buckingham Palace. And while it's not technically a royal visit, the couple says it's privately funded. It has all the hallmarks of one.
An early morning touchdown at Tullamarine among some very surprised fellow passengers.
Everyone was very excited to see them on board.
I've never seen anybody look so refreshed getting off a flight from the US.
Hours later, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex made their first public appearance of this trip at Melbourne's Royal Children's Hospital, chatting with patients, families and staff in a time-honoured fashion and turning on the charm.
Yes, Ginger's Law.
I gave Harry some flowers and they both wished me good luck on my journey and to keep being brave.
I don't get off of the ward very much, so it was very nice to come down and be human.
It was very exciting and I just loved Meghan's dress. It was so pretty.
Officially, this is not a royal tour, but it looks and feels a lot like one.
Their schedule is filled with charity and community events like this. This afternoon, the Duchess visited a women's shelter.
You are so nice.
Before joining her husband to meet families of war veterans. But much has changed since their last visit in 2018, when the newlywed couple was still well within the royal fold and very popular. Neither is true anymore. And there's been criticism that part of their schedule will be spent on appearances at private, ticketed events, including a luxury wellness weekend at a Sydney hotel. In a statement prior to their landing, a spokesman said the visit would include a small number of private engagements to support broader commercial, charitable and community objectives. And there won't be any royal walkabouts, keeping their public events to managed spaces to avoid disruption and control security costs. They might not be the royal pin-ups they once were, but the Sussexes showed today they can still pull a crowd.
It really brightened up my day.
Ben Knight, ABC News, Melbourne.
A Melbourne court has been told the daylight shooting of underworld figure Gavin Preston was a contract killing carried out by two men from New South Wales. The men have pleaded not guilty and say they weren't the shooters.
Gunned down on a sunny Saturday morning. Underworld figure Gavin Preston was at this Keilor cafe in 2023 when he was shot dead, ambushed by two masked men. Prosecutors say those men were Jaden Tito and Rabi Zahabe, two guns for hire who allegedly came from New South Wales to carry out a contract killing. This was a planned underworld hit, prosecutor Christy Churchill said. Gavin Preston was shot 7 times and died on the ground. His friend Abbas Magni survived. The shooters allegedly used 4 getaway cars, including a VW and an Audi, which were torched nearby, before they got into a chauffeured vehicle bound for Sydney. The prosecution says it has DNA and phone tower evidence connecting the men to the crime. Soon after the shooting, Rabi Zahabe allegedly searched online for countries that didn't do extraditions and looked up phrases in the Quran about seeking forgiveness. A picture of Gavin Preston was also allegedly created on his phone. But defence lawyers for the men say their clients are not guilty and that there were others out there who wanted Gavin Preston dead. The other man who was shot at the cafe refused to cooperate with police and won't be giving evidence at the trial. Prosecutors admit they don't have evidence about a motive or know who ordered the hit on Gavin Preston. Christian Silva, ABC News, Melbourne.
An 18-year-old man is in police custody after 2 people were allegedly assaulted during a home invasion on the Gold Coast. One of the victims has had surgery and remains in hospital as investigations continue.
A quiet Gold Coast street rocked by a violent crime. Police say a man allegedly broke into this Carrara home shortly after 4 a.m. when the residents woke and confronted him.
A struggle has followed where the victim has received a number of stab wounds to the torso, right shoulder and a cut to his face. The female victim has assisted in removing the offender from the house and in doing so has received a cut to her chest.
The couple fought off the alleged offender who fled the scene before officers arrived.
We have heard from the neighbours that they all observed a dark-coloured SUV leaving the scene at a rapid speed, so we believe that vehicle may be involved, but we're still to confirm this.
The 38-year-old male victim was rushed to the Gold Coast University Hospital in a critical condition, along with the 46-year-old woman. Detectives spent the day searching the crime scene to determine why this couple's home was targeted. The man has undergone surgery and is in a stable condition. His partner has been discharged but remains by his bedside in hospital. Police are urging anyone with information to come forward. Danielle Maher, ABC News, Gold Coast.
Police in Fiji want to put an Australian man on trial for allegedly orchestrating the importation of more than 4 tonnes of methamphetamine. And there are concerns organised crime groups are using South Pacific countries as pit stops to import drugs into Australia.
In this humble tin shed in early 2024, Fiji police found tonnes of methamphetamine sent by the ruthless Sinaloa cartel in Mexico, destined for Australia.
The Pacific is a waypoint for a lot of the importations that come to Australia. Almost all organised crime groups in New South Wales use the Pacific.
9 Fijians were convicted over that meth haul, but now Fiji police have their sights on a Sydney businessman, Sam Amin.
Late last year, a Fiji High Court judge labelled Amin a drug kingpin who orchestrated the importation. He has a gym and property in the island resort of Denarau, including a warehouse where the drugs were stored for several days.
Sam Amin would have had to have a say in the drugs being moved to his warehouse.
Using the encrypted app Threema, Amin helped arrange and pay to get the drugs into the country.